Hello, Mzansi. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Game On, where we promise to keep you entertained and well informed. On this week's show, we will later on in the day, and I implore you to stay with us until this, be having the COSAFA executive Sude Toms joining us to discuss the year ahead for a successful region here in the southern tip of the continent. We'll also have the legends, of course, in Jerry Skasana talking all things DSTV Premiership, including the Nedbank Cup. But to start things off, of course, we've got Shane McGregor here to discuss what's happening out in England, including Germany, and its exciting times in the league race out in England. Arsenal with an important 2-1 win that sees them now leapfrog the others to top spot, with Liverpool and City having played to a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, very important win for Arsenal. You know, they came up against a Brentford team that fought, but Arsenal were just too good on the day. You know, they won 2-1. They didn't score 5 or 6 goals like they used to.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, as long as you win. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be pretty anymore. The pressure's on. You just got to get those results and keep on grinding them out. Top of the log. As we saw a certain person shouting off the rooftops about them, you know, anyway, let's not go there. But they're top of the log, and they just got to keep on grinding. They've learned from last season, and that's the big thing here. They learned what happened last season, where they were there and then fell away. They're not going to happen again this year.
Talking about the difference from seasons past, goals for Arsenal, they're sitting at 70. At goals against, they're sitting at 24, better than both City and Liverpool. Yeah. So they're doing well from an attacking and defensive point of view. That's huge.
Yeah, but it is big, you know. He's got everything going right, you know. And for me, the one person that's done a lot for that, and for that to be where it is Rice, Declan Rice.
Yeah.
You know, when they spent that amount of money, I thought, is he worth it? He definitely is worth it. He's been the difference between defence, he's helping out, and attack. So he's been the cog there that's kept them going. Without Partey, who's been injured, I rate him as a player. So he's been that man that's done that job, and what a job he's done. They're going to go very close. I said to you a while ago already, there's only 3 teams in it. It's those 3.
Speaking about doing a job, Liverpool, with all their injury worries over the last few months, have stayed in the race. And I was very impressed with their ability to still get a point out of the City game. I thought City might just pip them going into this game.
Well, I was quite surprised. You know, I watched the game, and for the first 10, 15 minutes, brainer.
Yeah.
And look, his reaction wasn't the greatest, but if you're a player of his ability, you wouldn't want to be taken off. But it just shows you where Liverpool were, that he took him off and put on a more defence-minded player. To take off your best player, it takes courage to do that.
Yeah.
But
have to touch on the top 4 race here. Aston Villa and Tottenham. Villa hosting Tottenham 4-0 in favour of Tottenham now. The race between them for the top 4 spot is down to just 2 points. Tottenham are closing that gap and applying pressure.
Exactly, and that's becomes more difficult. You know, Villa have been going through a bad patch at the moment, and Spurs, you know, when they're on song, excuse the pun, they really are doing well. So that battle will go down to the wire as well for that 4th spot.
Now, let's look ahead at the matches coming up this weekend. Of course, 6 matches have been postponed due to cup ties, but an important fixture, West Ham up against Aston Villa. Again, we've spoken about Villa, the race for top 4. They've done so well to be in the running at this stage of the season, but it won't be easy away to West Ham.
Won't be easy. Both teams have struggled of late, and that's the big thing, you know, and it's a battle of the clarets. They both wear the same colour kits. But for me, I think Villa will get the job done. Yeah, I just feel that West Ham have fallen by the wayside. I don't know what's going wrong there. They seem to be not clicking at the moment. For me, I think Villa will get the job done for me.
Now, derby time. Fulham at home to Tottenham, and we know what's at stake for Tottenham, same as Aston Villa. So it's a huge game, that as well.
But for Fulham, you know, they're up and down. You can't predict them just because of where they are. Spurs will be upbeat after their victory last week. I think Spurs victory again.
Now, let's talk about the bottom of the table. Burnley up against Brentford at Turf Moor.
6-pointer.
6-pointer,
This really is a 6-pointer note. When you look at the head-to-heads of these 2 teams, it's very even. So it's a very difficult one to call. For me, if Burnley want to survive, they've got to win this game. It's as simple as that. And I know there's still 10 games to go. They've got to get the 3-pointer. If they don't, they're going to be in big trouble.
Now, Luton, they're at home to Nottingham Forest. Luton themselves aren't necessarily in a safe spot, while Nottingham Forest are 17th spot on the log. So both these sides are in need of points.
Again, 6-pointer. You know, again, a huge 6-pointer. Once again, same thing for Luton. If they want to survive, they've got to win. Forest were going well, then all of a sudden they beat a brick wall, and I'm not too sure what's going on there. I think a draw's written all over the cards on this one.
Now, with the likes of Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, you can include Nottingham Forest and Everton in that race as well at the bottom. How crucial is it now, and which of these sides do you see possibly picking up the necessary runs in the way of points and wins to get out of trouble? Everton possibly?
Everton, got the most chance, I think, because they got the quality players. You must remember they were docked those points, so it's made it harder for them. I think Everton will be safe. I think it'll be out of those bottom four. I still just feel that Forest have got a decent team. They could survive it in the end of the day.
I have to ask you about Everton and those docking of points. Many may not understand the reason behind when a league looks into your financial matters and then comes up and says, look, your books aren't looking right, we're going to dock points. Explain the importance of that in a league such as this to keep it from getting into disrepute.
Well, I'm also very confused about it because the bigger clubs are spending a lot more money and they're not into the trouble. I know there's been investigations into Man City, into clubs. So for me, I really don't understand it. They had to make I think they had to make a precedent about one club, and they did it with Everton. I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to go all the way because they're still appealing that. So we're waiting to see what happens. But it should be fair for everyone. If you're going to be putting those rules in place, it should be fair across the board for every club.
Now, two clubs we have to talk about here. One which was in the same or similar position as Aston Villa last year, find themselves in the midway point of the table now, along with Chelsea. That's Newcastle United. Yes, we've talked about the injuries they've had throughout the season. What do you make of their season? Do you think Eddie's in the spot of bother here in pressure come the end of the season?
You're always under pressure in coaches, especially in this league. If you're not up there and fighting, where you must remember they punched above their weight last season. They weren't expected to be where they were. They got there, and now all of a sudden your expectations to be there again is always pressure on you. I think he's under pressure. I do think they'll understand that he's had so many injuries. They're starting slowly but surely to get their players back, and you can see the difference in results. You can see the way they're playing. Though they're still not firing on all cylinders. So the pressure's always on him. Especially they've got a lot of money to spend and he hasn't spent the money. So I think he'll go into the market for next season and bring new players in.
So, interesting times out in England, whether it's the top of the table, the bottom of the table, or even sides in the middle of the table here. And it's interesting to see how things will pan out going into the end of the season. Thank you so much to Shane McGregor for joining us. Time now to, switch focus, bring on the legs of thunder, and discuss all things that have been happening locally, especially after a week where the Derby served up 5 goals and, excitement and thrills out in the Soweto Derby last week.
Check these guys. Let's show them how to done. I see it. Let's have a
your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Your feet like this.
Welcome back to Game On as we, of course, welcome the legs of thunder, Jerry Skosana, onto the set. Jerry, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about it, the big surprise, a pleasant surprise in the derby last week. Goals, entertainment, exactly what we were hoping for. How big of a surprise was it for you?
Yes, yes, I'm just happy because being lab.
Yeah,
being lab.
So hopefully the atmosphere.
We are told.
Yeah.
So, 96 washama seshala game. It's hey, bafuna ukwenzani khona ufuna ukulanda le hat trick yami.
Sure.
Good derby because I'm the last player to score a hat trick good derby because it was exciting. Since 95, all the derbies that came after they didn't produce the 5 goals. That happened when we beat Chiefs 4-1. So it was a 3-2 score, and I think it was an exciting game. I really enjoyed it. That's the derby that was the best after a long time.
Yeah, certainly was. Manje, let's look at just another big result. Isikhukhune United idlala neSwallows eDorpsy. Yabashaya 4. So is that maybe a sign ukuthi mhlambe things mhlambe zingaba grand lapha kuSwallows?
Yeah, ungakucabange futhi ukuthi mhlawumbe azange kukhishwe le mali le ama-player ukuthi abhadalwe. You'll never know.
Sure, yeah.
Because this happened immediately after the month end. And Swallows were not that bad in terms of the display that they showed before.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at them having all the good results, the draws,
Yes.
playing well against Chiefs, now they go and just lose at home against Kukune 4-1. Khona ukushaya amanzi okungahambi kahle lapho.
Yazi kuhambe kahle kusuke Golden Arrows. Steve Kompele uyafika. You know they've gone on that long stretch without a win. But when Polokwane City 1-0, important win for Golden Arrows in turning things around.
Maria, yabona le Grootman mina ngiyayithanda.
Sure.
Yeah, inamaqiniso straight, honestly speaking. Because ufike lapha, I think 3 days before bodlala. And now he was given the credit to say he made Golden Arrows to change. And he said, the credit must still go to Mabuti Kanyezi.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was there to support because there's nobody that can get it right in hardly 3 days ufike teamini. So khona at least okwenzakele might be present yakhe be right, but any credit unika uMabuti Kanyezi kulawo yabona ngithi no le Grootman yiyo ngasebenza naye ebholweni.
He's a gentleman indeed. Now,
Really?
let's focus on Nedbank Cup. Lama games as Nedbank Cup. First one, Richards Bay at home to SuperSport United. There's an interesting one.
Interesting one. I mean, but both teams, results wabo, they were good. They were good. Maybe results wabo, but let's see what's going to happen. But I would fancy SuperSport to go away with that one. I mean, they will proceed to the quarterfinals.
What about results wabo they were good? You happy with the SuperSport throwing the Sundowns, getting their spirits up? It's for a confidence booster.
Yeah. I mean, if Bobugeli game, you can give advantage to SuperSport.
Sure.
Honestly speaking, because to me there was a penalty call. Which was not given. And halftime it didn't come back because it was hacked from behind and I think the ankle had a problem. And so enough, there was like an offside call, which was not an offside. I mean, it was just a scoring opportunity for a SuperSport. But let's not blame match officials. These things, they happen in football. But I really give SuperSport credit. But obviously, Sundowns, they chop and change, but they are a good team. So if Patro will, omunye umuntu akabi happy ngalo, which is the coach.
We always talk about David Goliath when it comes to the Nedbank Cup. In this case, David, he aside from Northern Cape, Hungry Lions, they play in the Motsepe Foundation, but Lala no Goliath, Orlando Pirates.
Hey, let yabo Goliath yashopa man. Hey, yashopa man. Angithandi man.
Sure.
You remember when Pirate lost to was it like TVT? Yes, Kwakwa. Yeah, in the same competition, you know, but Goliath, yabona.
Yeah.
Nomtavita lapha. Hey,
Back in 2013, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the year. But also something exciting, maybe okhuluma ngayo maybe usazokhuluma ngayo, I'm not sure, but it just sank into me. The derby in the Eastern Cape. Ravens and also Ichipa United. That's something exciting. You know, people in the Eastern Cape, they love football. I once coached lapha. So ngiyazi ukuthi atmosphere yakhona kuyobe kunjani, and I wish they play lapha sisatukash eMtanzania. That would be
They'll be getting a good following there.
Yeah, serious.
They turn out that place impressive.
You know, I would love to be there and just watch. Because I've been there before, I know. Now, let's
talk about Mamelodi Sundowns. Baphizi labantu. Knockout stages, Champions League, DStv Premier League. Nakhona they're maintaining this unbeaten run. They're doing so well there. Under pressure still, when you think of the workload, the traveling, Nale squad sabo futhi, up against Maritzburg United.
Yeah, no, I will give it to Mamelodi Sundowns, honestly speaking. I mean, Maritzburg City, concentration about Ilapa championship. You know, they want to bounce back to the PSL and they are struggling. And Ubuga Itax, Ifome Iguyo. And you look at like on a midweek game against the Iswalos winning 2-1. They're showing some positive signs. So in Maritzburg, I think they wouldn't mind ukuthi baphume ku-Nedbank and concentrate with championship where they are struggling.
Now, I must ask you, for Sundowns, the better they do, Nedbank Cup, the more pressure, of course, when you go into the knockout stages and get closer to the semi-finals and the finals. Pressure every game now. Almost every game is like a final, including the league, including the Champions League. There's not a lot to take on, Alex.
Uyazi mawuyibeka nje like njengoba ngadlala ibhola before.
Yeah.
Sundowns ingadlala 3 games in one day. 3 games in one day. Sundowns can go and play with CAF. Sundowns can go and play with Nedbank. Sundowns can also have another team that can play league in. That Sundowns, the squad that they have.
True.
I mean, you look at the young boy. I just forgot. Is it? He just got promoted now. I think he scored a goal.
Oh yes, recently Kabalaki runs away from me, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
But I missed him now.
Yeah.
You know, you look at that. I mean, Rolani is just doing a wonderful job, especially promoting all these lighties. But there was another a foreigner again, a squad. He's there in that team that I just saw recently, and he was in there. So that's why we try. Sundowns a better squad esinzima man. Even the development qualify ukudlala lapha ne-MTC yabo ungayinika i-Nedbank iyodlala ne-Maritzburg, they will win. I promise you.
So exciting views then very much, Jerry Skosana. Keep in mind there will be another game to look forward to in Botshabelo General that take on the 2019 champions in TX Galaxy. So we have run out of time in this segment. Thank you so much to Jerry Skosana. On the other side of this, of course, we have an exciting chat with COSAFA executive Sude Tomes. Welcome back to Game On as we keep things moving along, and as promised, look at the southern tip of the continent known as the COSAFA region, of course, which has had plenty of reason for joy with a success in the women's game and the men's game, not only in the club sections but also on the international stage as well. And so I guess it's safe to say we should all take our hats off to the team out at COSAFA, and also congratulate the COSAFA Executive Director Sude Tomes, who joins us here on Game On. Sue, thank you so much for your time, and you should be proud of the work you've put in over the years and the results that are coming out of it.
Yes, indeed. I think it's been a long haul.
Yeah.
But certainly, if one looks firstly at the women, and although we had done the women's tournament, way back in 2006. But on more of an ad hoc basis. From 2017, it became an annual affair. And that, I think, made all of the difference to the women's teams in the COSAFA region.
Certainly has. Now, I know this month begins what should be a busy calendar for you for the rest of the year, but the focus in what starts tomorrow in the 2023 Durban Beach or COSAFA Beach Soccer Tournament out in Durban, I should say.
Yes, yes, very excited to be back on Central Beach at South Beach in Durban for, I think, what should be a rip-roarer. We've got 8 teams participating, 5 being COSAFA teams, and then we've got 3 invitees, being Tanzania. And then for the first time, we have Morocco and we have Saudi Arabia.
Oh. So that's something to look forward to. I know last year Senegal were there. They were terribly entertaining. Let's talk about the rest of the year. I know it's a busy calendar for you guys. You're always busy out in COSAFA. What are you looking forward to?
We've got a whole host from the senior men that we're planning for June, under 20 women, which is making a comeback, after 2 to 3 years. We go on to the Women's Champions League, which saw Sundowns, as you know, win again last year. Then we move on to under 20 boys, which this year is an AFCON qualifier. Our senior women's again. The schools, the very, very exciting schools tournament, and then we'll finish off the year with the under-17 girls and under-17 boys, which again is an AFCON qualifier.
Now, I've had the privilege of working with you and the COSAFA team over the years in various tournaments as a commentator, but I know there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that many aren't aware of, such as the clinics for coaches and medical departments and future, let's say, media people that are interested, that are currently students. Talk to us more about that and what happens behind the scenes at COSAFA.
Yeah, it's, we treat all of our tournaments holistically. So it's not just about going to, to wherever we are playing the match on the pitch, and then off we go again. We like to give back to the communities that are hosting us with, as you've said, coaching courses, D license, C license courses, administration and management courses, grassroots little festivals, medical workshops, and then we've started over the last 2 years with quite a vibrant internship program, where we've taken students from the technology, the colleges, and have had them shadowing our production team, our media team, and then also taking medical students from the Ambilo campus, for instance, in Durban, and putting them to work with our medical doctor. So we've got quite a vibrant legacy program, as we call it. And then this year, we're doing a whole lot more, in terms of capacity building for all of our member associations, from emergency medical. We're going to be doing a technical forum, which will talk about, it'll give the feedback of all of the technical analysis of matches, both men's and women's, boys and girls, and a whole host more. So a really busy calendar.
Certainly is. Now, we have to talk about it first, which came last year at the Women's Championships here in Gauteng, VAR. It was a great honor to be a part of the team that worked with VAR for the first time for COSAFA. Let's talk about the future.
Well, that indeed was a groundbreaker. I think we're the first zone to have embarked on a fully fledged training program. So we brought in all of our female referees with a couple of imports who were already trained on the VAR, just to be able to kind of embellish and take us into the live, because we did a 5-day training course before, and we ended up with the semi-finals and the finals of the Women's Championship with live VAR, which is a first.
Yeah.
But even more exciting is that CAF had told us last year that they were purchasing VAR equipment for all of the zones, and ours has arrived. It's arrived in Johannesburg. We're really, really excited because we've got a big rollout plan for the VAR training. We will be doing the inaugural regional workshop in Zimbabwe in May, and then from there on, the purpose of having the VAR equipment primarily is to be training the referees across the Southern African region, so South Africa and all of our neighboring countries. So really exciting stuff.
Now, please talk to us about the importance of your relationship and partnership with HollywoodBets in helping aid you reach your goals.
Well, our partnership began in 2019 with the senior men, and then of course we had that little lapse called COVID. But we're delighted to entice HollywoodBets back, and it's got progressively better over the years, with having started with one tournament, and now they're our partner for the senior men, the Women's Champions League, and the senior women's, as well as beach. So really important to have long-standing partnerships and partners who leverage on their investments. We all know that for every 10 rand you should be spending another 10 rand on leveraging, and HollywoodBets is one of those partners. I think that goes the extra mile. Really shows its intention and its excitement about being at whichever tournament and painting the place purple.
Well, we hope your relationship with HollywoodBets continues to move in the right direction. We, of course, are thankful to the work you and your team are putting in helping the game in Southern Africa and the COSAFA region, of course, move in great strides, which we've seen over the years. Thank you so much for your time, Sue, and the best of luck going forward in the future.
Thank you. Thank you to you, and thank you to our partners, HollywoodBets.
Yep. There you have it. That's Sue Daytones then, and things looking mighty good for the COSAFA region when you consider what's been happening in the women's game, the recently held Africa Cup of Nations as well on the men's side, and we hope things continue to get better, of course, with the work being put in behind the scenes in the COSAFA region. So, from myself, Susan Mapen, and the rest of the Game On team, it's time to say sayonara until next week, and the best way to do so is to go click, click, bang.